Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Vishal Bambalani, and in our video today, we will cover the top 18 basic formulas in Excel. So let's begin. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, I have listed down the top most basic formulas that we have in Excel. To start with, the first function that is listed here is sum. So if I simply click on it, it will navigate us to another sheet in the name of sum. So first, let's try to understand what this function is and how is it helpful to us. So basically, it performs addition on selected cells. So as the name suggests, it will perform addition on given values. So it works on cells containing numerical values. So it will work only on numbers and it requires two or more cells. So the basic need of this function is that it needs two values, or in other words, we can say it requires two cells. So here we have a table where you can see that we have four columns: item name, number of items, price per item, and then total amount. So we have four rows as well. So our job is to merely perform the sum on these four rows. So here we can find out the value. Now to write a formula, just activate the cell where we want the result, type in equal to, then enter the formula name, which is sum, open the round brackets, and here as you can see it suggests the input parameters it needs. So since we want these four rows, simply select these four and then close the round brackets and type in enter. It was pretty easy, right? So within a fraction of seconds it added these four values. Now let's get back to another formula. Now the second function mentioned here is minimum. Let's click on it. So it again brought us to another sheet in the name of minimum. So here, if we quickly go through what this minimum function is, so it requires a range of cells and it returns the minimum value from it. We have a table here as well, which we just saw in our previous function. So here, our job is to find the minimum value or the minimum price that we have in this column, and we want the result to be on C6 cell. So let's activate this. Now type in equal to, then formula name, open the round brackets. It again suggested us the parameters it needs. Now since we want the minimum value from these four rows, just select these four, close the round brackets and press enter. So as you can see, the minimum value from these four rows is 12 and it gave us the correct answer. Let's press back again. So the third function in line is max. So I've clicked on it. It brought us to a different sheet now. Now this function, it is the opposite of minimum. It will return the maximum value from the selected range of cells. Now we have the same table here. Now our job is to merely find the maximum of these four values. And we want the result to be here. So I've activated the cell, typed in equal to max, opened the round bracket, just select these four rows, closed it, and pressed enter. And as you can see, 50 is the maximum value that we have when we considered these four rows. So again, it gave us the correct answer. Let's get back to our home page. Now the fourth function, which is in line, is average. Let's click on it. It brought us to another sheet. Now this function, it calculates the average of selected cells. So we have the same table here. So here we have the total amount for each of these item names individually. Let's try to find the average value that we have for the total amount column. Since we want the result here, I've activated it, equal to average, open the round bracket. So it gave us the input parameter suggestions. Simply select the range of cells that we want the average on. We have selected so. Close the round bracket and enter. So 540 is the average value when considered these four rows. So in a matter of few minutes, we have covered 4 functions now. Let's click on back again. Now fifth function is count. Let's click on it. It brought us to another sheet. So this formula, it counts the total number of selected cells. It will not count the blank cells and different data formats other than numeric. It means whatever the range of cells that will be selected, it will count those and accordingly give us the result. Plus, it will not count the blank cells. Also, if we have a different data format other than numeric, it will again be not counted. So here we have this table again. Now let's try with few scenarios. So here we want the result. So first, let's try to highlight these 4 rows and see what is the result. So let's type in the formula equal to count, open the bracket, select these 4 rows, close it and enter. So as you can see, since we highlighted these 4 rows, it gave us the correct result. Now let's try to change the selection area. Let's type in the formula again, count. Now this time we'll include the header name as well. This becomes the total of 5 rows. When typed enter, it gave us 4, which means since this header is not a numerical value, it will not count this. So it again gave us 4. Now let's try to include B, C and D column equal to count. Let's copy this entire thing. I have closed the round brackets, clicked on enter. So it gave us 12, which means when we selected this area, the first row is not a numerical value, so it will not be counted. This entire column is blank, which again will not be counted. That leaves us with 12 cells, 4 year, 4 year and 4 year. So that becomes 12. So I hope you're finding it easy. Now let's press back again. Now the sixth function in line is concatenate. Let's click on it. It will bring us to another sheet. So this formula, it joins or merges multiple strings or cells with strings into one. This means if we select two such cells which includes strings, so it will concatenate those and give the result in another cell which is highlighted. So here, as you can see, I have already written down a formula where first name is Akshay, last name is Kumar, and when concatenated, it gave us Akshay Kumar. So let's try here again. So if I try in the second cell, let's type in equal to concatenate, open the round bracket, select the first cell, comma, select the second cell, close the round bracket and enter. Our string is concatenated. Now you must be wondering there isn't any space between the last name and first name, right? So for that, we need to make a small tweak in our formula. So as you can see, after comma, simply include a double quote with a space between it, then enter another comma, which gives us 3 arguments. First is A3 cell, which is the first name, then second argument becomes a space, and then third one is B3, which is the last name. Now if I click on enter, you can see we have a space within it. Similarly, if you simply drag and drop to the last, it will populate all the values. Let's click on back again. Now let's go to another formula which we have here is trim. So here it removes the extra spaces from the start, middle and end. So we have some sample strings wherein we have some extra spaces at the start of each of these sentences. So if I talk about the first sentence, we have it here as well, and we have it here as well, the second sample string. Then we have some extra spaces in the middle of both these strings and at the end of both these strings as well. Now with the help of trim function, we can remove each of these spaces, be it the start, be it middle, or be it the last. Now since we want the end result to be in this cell. Let's type in the formula equal to trim, open the round bracket, simply select the cell, close the round bracket and enter. So as you can see, before hello, the spaces are no more there. After Excel as well, here we had spaces, here we do not have, and we do not have it at the end as well. Simply drag it to the second position, and you can see before currently we don't have it. Then in the middle of the sentence, we had this extra space, here we cannot find it, which means it has been removed now, and we do not have it at the end as well. Let's click on back. Okay, so let's continue with our next formula, which is replace. Let's click on it. So it brought us to another sheet. So this function, it helps us to replace part of the string with a new string. So here we have a table wherein we have two sample strings. So all we need to do is replace a part of these two strings with some other text. So here the first string is hello all. We are learning Excel formulas today. So let's try to replace hello all by hello everyone. So we want the result to be in this activated cell. So let's type in equal to replace, open the round bracket. So old text is this. Then second parameter is start num. So if we check where the all word starts from, so hello is of 5 characters, then we have a space, so that becomes 6, and all starts from 7. So starting position is 7, then all is of 3 letters. So our third parameter is number of characters, so let's enter 3, and then new text is everyone. So let's type in everyone and then close the round bracket, enter. So as you can see, hello all has been replaced by hello everyone, and rest remains same. So our second sample string is this. Currently we are learning the length function, which seems to be very simple. But since we are learning replace function, let's try to replace length with replace. So here we want the end result. So let's make it equal to replace, open the round bracket, then old text is this. Now let's count the starting position of the word we want to replace, that is length, and that is 32. Then third parameter is number of characters, which is 6, and we want to replace it with replace, close the round bracket and enter. So as you can see, we are learning the length function has been replaced by we are learning the replace function. So I hope you are understanding how we can make use of this replace function. Let's click on back. Then next function in line is substitute. Let's click on it. So if we read the description first, so this substitute formula is a similar to replace function. Instead of providing the location of the character or the number of characters, we will only provide the old text and new text. So it appears to be simple. Let's see how we can make use of it. So as you can see, I've kept one ready for you. Now let's try to implement this in our second sample string. So what we did in our previous function is we simply replaced length with replace function. So here let's try to replace the length function with substitute function. So we want the end result to be here. So I've activated this cell. Now let's type in the formula equal to substitute, open the round brackets. So our text is this, old text is length, and new text is substitute. Close the round bracket and enter. Now as you can see, we are learning the length function has been replaced by we are learning the substitute function, with the remaining string being same. So I hope you are able to differentiate between replace and substitute, and you would be the best judge to determine what would be easier for you. Let's click on back. Then another function is length. So the length function, it returns the total number of characters in a string. It will count the overall characters including spaces and special characters. So here we have two sample strings ready with us. Here we need to find the total length of the strings individually. So here let's type in the formula equal to length, open the round bracket, choose the text or the cell, click enter. So that becomes 48. Simply drag and drop to the second one and it will give us the result for the second sample string as well. Let's click on back. Now our 11th function is left, right and mid. So if we go through this description first, then we have left function which returns the number of characters from the start of the string or text. Then we have right function which will return the number of characters from the end. Also, we just need to provide a number of characters. Then third is mid. So this requires the starting position and length to extract the characters from the middle. So each of this function is differing with each other in some way. So we have the sample strings here. So if we start with left, and since we want the result here, so I've activated this cell. Let's type in the formula left with the round bracket. And if I activate this, since we want some characters from this string, then comma, and let's say we want the first 10 characters. So I've typed in 10, close the round bracket and pressed enter. So the hello all along with comma becomes our first 10 characters in this given string. So if I drag this down, so that it will bring us currently with a comma for this particular string. Then we come to right function. So let's type in the formula equal to right with a round bracket. Let's select the text. And if we talk about the number of characters we want, let's say 6. So that gives us today with a full stop. So let's drag it down to the second cell. So this gives us impl with a full stop. So here let's try to increase it to 7. Well, it has given a simple now. Great. Now our third function, which is mid, let's type in the formula equal to mid, start the round brackets, select the text. Let's say starting position is 12 and the number of characters we want is let's say 14 maybe. So it is we are learning. Now if I just drag it down, it will say we are learning as well. But now since we are learning how to use it basically, so yeah, you can decide on your own way how to make use of this formula. Let's click on back. Then next function is date difference. Let's click on it and it has navigated us to another sheet in the name of DATEDIF. So it is the most used formula for time series datasets. So it calculates the difference between two dates and returns the number of days, months, weeks, or years based on your preference. So as simply said, so it basically calculates the difference between two dates and it will give us the result in either the number of days, number of months, number of weeks, or number of years based on what we want. So as you can see, we have a table here as well. So as you can see, we have the start date and end date here. So all we need to do is calculate the difference between these two dates. Now since we want the end result to be in this cell, let's type in the formula DATEDIF with opening the round bracket. Let's select the first date, comma, the second date, comma, and let's say we want the difference in years. So let's type in Y, close the round bracket and enter. So this gives us the difference in years, which is 6, 1995 through 2001, and let's drag it down to the second one. So that gives us 4. But here, let's try to make a tweak. Instead of years, let's say we want months. So let's type in M. So that gives us 49 months. So this becomes our DATEDIF function. Let's click on back. Now another most used function is VLOOKUP. Let's click on it and understand how it is helpful. So basically this function stands for vertical lookup, that is responsible for looking for a particular value in the leftmost column of a table. It then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. So here we have a table from which we want to identify what is the price of a chocolate. So here let's type in the formula, which is VLOOKUP, open the round bracket. Then what is the lookup value, which is chocolate, in the table range, which is the entire table. Let's keep it entire table. Then column index, we want it to be 3 since we want the price item. And then last parameter is we want approximate match or we want exact match. So let's keep it 0, which is approximate match. Let's close the round bracket and enter. So as you can see, it has given us the price. And now let's try to find the number of items keychain has. So here let's activate our cell, equal to VLOOKUP, open the round bracket, lookup value is keychain, then comma, then table array, let's keep it entire table, then column index is 2 since we want the number of items, which is column B, and that is column 2, approximate match, so 0, close the round bracket and enter. So it gave us the number of items for keychain. So I hope you were able to understand how to use VLOOKUP. Let's go back to our main page. So the next formula that is in line is HLOOKUP. Let's click on it. That has navigated us to HLOOKUP sheet, which has some description. So let's quickly go through it. So similar to VLOOKUP, we have another function called horizontal lookup. The function HLOOKUP looks for a value in the top row of a table or array of benefits. It gives the value in the same column from a row you specify. So which means if we have this table here wherein the column names are the first column and then the values are in this fashion. So let's say we want the total amount for Maggie. So let's activate this cell, type in HLOOKUP, open the round bracket. What is the lookup value, which is Maggie, then comma, what is the table array? Let's keep it entire table for now. Then third parameter is row index number. Now we want 420, which is the total amount. So that is row number 4. So let's keep it 4, which is the row index number. And then last is either true or false. True stands for approximate match and false is for exact match. So let's keep it 0, approximate match, close the round bracket and enter. So see, it has given us the total amount for Maggie. So if we read the description again, it gives the value in the same column from a row you specify. So what we did here is we wanted the total amount for Maggie. So using this HLOOKUP, we first told the formula that we want for Maggie, which is C column, and then we put in the range and it gave us the value for row number 4, which we mentioned in third parameter, as you can see here. So I hope you were able to understand how to use HLOOKUP. Let's go back. Then another important function is if. So a different sheet is open now. So here if we go through the description first, so it checks a given condition and returns a particular value if it is true, and it will return another value if the condition is false. So it's a basic simple if condition. So here if we go through the table first, so we have 4 columns: item name, number of items, price per item, and total amount. We have 4 rows as well. So here our job is to merely check whether the price of a particular item is greater than 15 or not. If it is 15, I mean greater than 15, so we'll simply print yes, and if it is not, we'll simply print no. So here, since we want the end result to be here, I have activated it. Let's type in the formula if with a round bracket, then logical test. So I have highlighted this. If it is greater than 15, comma, so our logical test parameter is complete. Now what if value is true? So we want it yes, price is greater than 15, comma. Now what if value is false? So here let's give it oops, value is smaller. Close the round bracket and enter. Okay. So since it is not greater than 15, it has given us this. So if I drag it down, so it said yes, price is greater than 15 since it is for 35. It is same here as well since it is greater than 15, and then here again since it is greater than 15. So our if condition has validated all the 4 rows. Let's go back. So we are left with just 3 formulas now, which are CountIf, SumIf, and IFERROR. Let's begin with CountIf. So if we go through the description first, so it is used to count the total number of cells within a given range that meets the given condition. So we have a table here wherein there are 3 columns: item name, item type, and total. So let's say we want to count the total number of chocolates in this given column, the total number of snacks, and the total number of cold drinks. So we have a different table here wherein we'll count the total number of chocolates, total number of snacks, and cold drinks. So let's go first with chocolates. So let's make use of CountIf formula equal to CountIf, open the round bracket. So here it is asking us for the range. So let's give the range here. Now what is the criteria? So let's say we want chocolate. So we have selected it, close the round bracket and enter. So it gives us 2, which means that there are 2 chocolates in this given range. Similarly, let's go for snack equal to CountIf. Let's give the range, give comma, and then we want snack. So let's select the snack, close the round bracket and enter. So we have snack here, here, and here. So it's 3 times. So it has given us 3. And if we go for cold drink equal to CountIf, select the range, comma, and if we select cold drink, close the round bracket and enter. So it has given us 2. So this is how we'll make use of CountIf with a given condition. Let's go back. So now we have SumIf function. So the SumIf function, it adds the cells specified by a given condition or criteria. So we have a table here wherein again we have 3 columns. So there are multiple items and we have item types for the individual items as well and the total number we have. So if we go for item type, we have chocolates, snack and cold drink. So let's say we want to find the total number of chocolates in this given table, the total number of snacks and the total number of cold drinks. So we have a different table wherein I have specified the item types we have. So in this highlighted cell, let's try to find the total number of chocolates first using SumIf. So first it is asking us for the range. So let's give the range here. Then second is the criteria. So we want chocolate. And then in the sum range, since we want total, so let's give the sum range here. Close the round bracket and enter. So it has given us 10 plus 15, which is equal to 25. Similarly, let's go for snack equal to SumF. Let's give the range, comma. Now we want snack, comma, and then sum range. Enter. So it has given us 5 plus 12, 17 plus 2, 19. Similarly, let's go for cold drink as well. This is the range, comma, cold drink, comma, and sum range. It has given us 10. That is 4 plus 6. I hope you are able to understand how we can make use of SumIf. Let's go back. Now let's proceed with our last formula for the day, and that is if error. Let's click on it. So it has navigated us to its sheet. So here if we go through the description first, it says that it checks a formula for errors and returns a specified value in place of that error. This returned value can be a text message, an empty string, a logical value, a number, etc. And the errors that are handled by this function is hash na, hash divide by 0, hash name, and so on. As you can see, we have a table here and there are multiple items under it like Munch, Maggie, Dairy Milk, Lay's, Pepsi, French fries, and Fanta. So let's say our job here is to find, let's say, noodles, and we know that it's not present here. So definitely when we'll be using a formula to find noodles, it will throw an error, right? So let's find noodles first and see how to handle it. So we'll make use of VLOOKUP equal to VLOOKUP, open the round bracket. Now what is the lookup value? And that is noodles. Table array. So let's give it this, comma. What is the column index? That is 1. An approximate match or exact match. Let's give it approximate. Round brackets closed and then enter. So it's saying not available, right? So now instead of this hash na, we want some message. Let's say that it is not present. So we can make use of if error. So just after equal to sign, let's make use of if error, open the round brackets. So here the first parameter is value. So this becomes our value. Let's put a comma. And then second parameter is value if error. So let's give a message here. Let's give it, sorry, it is not present. Sorry, it is not present. Let's close the round bracket and enter. So see, it gave us this message. So this is how we can handle any error by the formulas by using if error function. I hope you were able to understand this. Let's go back to our home page. So now we are done with all these 18 basic formulas. I hope you were able to learn all of them.